Travel and Things in association with Sun Destinations, iconic destinations with amazing experiences present In Conversation with. I am your host, David Batsoffen, and I'm joined for episode 4 of 4, all the way from Australia, from right outside Van-Nilla. His hard-working bus is Gary Friedman. Gary, one last time, welcome to you.
Thank you for the very last time.
Let's get straight into it. We've done 3 episodes already, so we're onto the final home straight. So we've been to Darwin. We spoke about Darwin in episode 3, and now we've moved to Queensland. Am I correct? And then we're going to sort of work our way back through Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria, and home.
Not quite, because I did have one slight problem with the van.
Mm.
So to get to Queensland, you've got to
Yeah.
come down the center.
Mm.
Okay. And I was somewhere near and Tennant Creek, just above Tennant Creek, which you
Right.
can't see there, but it's north of Alice Springs.
Mm.
It's between Alice Springs and Katherine, so you can
Right.
see that.
Okay.
I had a problem with my the car. It started pulling like back and forward,
Mm.
and I phoned the roadside assist, and I upgraded the roadside assist to the top level before I left for this journey, thinking it would all be good, because they
Right.
said you'd be covered anywhere and you could get towed up to 100 kilometers anywhere in Australia.
Right.
Now, luckily, I didn't need to be towed because I wasn't broken down, but it was just jerking very badly.
Mm.
I was near Tennant Creek and I called them and I said, "Can I take it to somewhere in Tennant Creek?" And they said, "No." They said,
Oh.
unless you are broken down and cannot move, we cannot help you."
That's very kind of them, and you've now bought top tier coverage, and they still can't help you.
Well, it's cancelled now. I'm looking for a new one. But it's the second time it's happened. The first time I actually drove into someone's house and I got stuck on their lawn. I got bogged in because
Mm.
had been raining, and they couldn't help me because I was not on the road. I was inside someone's property.
Yes. So what did you do?
What did I do? I made it to Tennant Creek and I drove around frantically looking for a, a repairer, a
Mm.
mechanic. And it was about 5:30 in the afternoon. I needed to find a mechanic before it got dark,
Right.
because I certainly don't like going around looking for a place to stay when it's dark. In fact, I don't even like driving in the dark.
Mm.
So finally, I found an address of a mechanic who apparently was still open, and I'm driving there, and all of a sudden, police sirens and flashing lights. It's an incredible experience. I had the whole entourage after me. I was
Mm.
being chased by the police. They stopped me and I tried to open my door and they say, "Don't get out the car. Put your hands where you can." It was just like an American movie.
Where we can see them.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the the story is that I had been traveling 60 kilometers an hour
Mm.
in a 40-kilometer zone.
Listen, and the
And normally the
Australians
40,
don't like you speeding.
speeding at 60. But anyway, a 40-kilometer zone is normally a school zone, which is
Yeah.
during school hours only. This was at 5:30 in the afternoon. It was not during school hours. Anyway, you can't argue with them. I was given the great privilege of a $380 fine.
Wow.
Yep. And I lost another 4 points of my license. So
Another 4 points. How many have
another
you at
4.
that point?
You start off with 12 here. And when you
Right.
get down to 0, you get out your car, you close the door, and you wait 6 months.
So where were you at that particular point, from a demerit point of view?
I think I was on 8,
Okay.
but now I'm on 4.
4. We're back to your alien friends. They seem to have featured every single episode that we've done, but in this particular episode, there are a couple that have been dolled up. I'm not sure if they're being used as scarecrows or if people in passing just feel that they are representative, like you do, of some sort of
Well,
alien life force that needs to be, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, revered, perhaps.
well, these particular termite mounds, and as I've said before, they are all the way up the Northern Territory, and also I discovered they were all the way to Queensland as well. So I had to drive down. Oh, sorry, your question. Why are they dressed up? Because people find it amusing. They stop their cars and they put clothes on some of them.
Like, yeah.
And exactly. And when I talk about a Star Wars world, you
Mm.
can see what I mean.
I do indeed. Oh my goodness me. Is that your van in the background?
That's Van-Nilla lying there. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a
And
gravel road. That's a way to pull off the main highway. It's the only way you
okay.
could. Yeah.
And then people just do this in the middle of nowhere. I mean, who's carrying what looks like an old swimming pool pump, a part of a swimming pool pump with them to do this in the middle of nowhere?
I could ask the same question. I have absolutely no idea. But having said that, they are amazing, amazing. I mean, it's only very few of them that are dressed up like
Hmm.
this. Most of them are just in their naked form. But it's very amusing, and it's very mysterious as well
I should
as to
imagine so.
what, because this particular one is
Hmm.
not even right on the main highway. It's off the main highway. So to see it, you would have to sort of either drive very slowly and look carefully or drive off the highway.
There's no accounting for some human beings and what they'll get up to, you know.
But hang on, this is what the human beings do. Talk about what the termites have done and
Well,
how
there's
they have survived for millions of years.
millennia, yeah. Can you imagine? Because normally the entrance to a termite mound is through the top. Now, I don't know if this one is still an active termite mound, just looking at it. But could you imagine if it is? They wake up one morning, somebody's put a swimming pool pump on their and closed up their front door. You know, it's a bit rude to say the least.
There are actual entrances everywhere, but
No, no.
having said that, um, it is disturbing because the whole point of these termite moles are breathing and
Hmm.
generating air.
Yeah.
So they're built in a certain way that the air flows in and out when it's hot and when
Hmm.
it's cold, keeping it very well ventilated.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this obviously does disturb
I should
disturb the
imagine so.
structure. Yeah.
Now, from the dry and dusty to almost what looks like being on a tropical island.
But you've jumped hugely
Yeah, well,
because
this is Gary. These are the images that you sent me in the order that you sent them to me. So whether I've jumped or not, I have no idea. Keep up.
okay, well, let's just keep let's just keep Port Douglas till I get to Port Douglas, because I'm not anywhere near Port Douglas. In fact, I'm probably a week or two away. So I'm driving along the road. So from three ways,
Mm.
you can't. Okay, well, the road from the center of Australia, that's called the Stuart Highway, and then I'm going to branch off now towards towards Mount Isa, Cloncurry, Hughenden, Charter Towers, and then at the very coast, Townsville,
Okay.
Townsville City. Now, Townsville it took about a week or 5 days to get there, driving along. It's a long, long way. It's
I
on
mean,
the
it's unbelievable. Have your family who were with you in the Northern Territories, have they now left and gone home?
They left and went home
Okay.
before I left Darwin, of
Okay.
course.
So now you're back on the road, you're by yourself, you're listening to your meditation tapes that you told us about, and you tootling along a road that you didn't realize was going to take you this long to get from A through B, C, D, and E, and eventually to
Well,
Z.
to get to Townsville, I
Mm,
never ever dreamed it would be as long. I knew the center of Australia. I knew that road would take a long time. It took 18 days to
mm.
get from Melbourne all the way up to Darwin. But Townsville across, it seemed much shorter. And it is obviously much shorter. It didn't
Yeah,
take me 18 days, but it did take about 5 or 6 days
it's
to
still a
get
long
across.
ride.
But I'm going slow. I mean, I'm not driving at hell speed or anything like that.
But
But
we had this chat in one of the episodes. We were talking about driving along because it's pointless if you set out on this journey of discovery, as we spoke about in episode one, to just rocket through it from A to B, not
absolutely.
enjoying things along the way, because
Well, that's
that's
the whole point.
pointless. Yeah,
Yeah.
then you may as well have stayed at home and done this on an app.
Having said that, I've got a friend, also Gary, who stayed at home. He just had an up on his shoulder. He stayed at home and he followed me on Google Maps. And
Ah,
many times every day, we would check in and see how far we are and what's happening next, because it's quite difficult to zoom in and go into the detail while you're driving.
mm,
Obviously, I've got the map open as all the time, or as much of the time as I
yeah.
could get reception.
I was
I did
about to
that.
say, did you carry the old school paper map with you?
No, you can't. You can't. Not when
Uh,
you're driving. No, no,
no.
no.
And well, you if you'd had a co-pilot, yes, you could have, but in this instance, as you say, no, you couldn't. I take it this is now where are we?
Now now you've gone another
Week
huge
ahead.
week ahead. So let's go back to, okay, so we've gone all the way to Townsville, which
Mm.
is on the coast. It's on the Great Barrier Reef, and this is
Ah,
also on the
okay.
Great Barrier Reef. It's marine and coral, and off Townsville, there's a place called Magnetic Island, which is absolutely stunning, beautiful. And it's not too different from what you're looking at here. Although this place here was, now you've got me. It was where we went snorkeling, and
Okay.
that was in Fitzroy Island, which is, oh, it's also off Townsville. So I went there for the day, snorkeling, because I wasn't going to do any great scuba diving.
Super done.
But the barrier reef is extraordinary.
There were
The
issues
fish,
around Great Barrier Reef, Gary. Sorry to talk over you. They were worried about the coral dying. Have they looked into that, and has it sort of regenerated, or has it become a proper conservation area now?
Absolutely, it is. There, the reason for a lot of the coral being destroyed
Mm.
are the big storms, and it's nature that's destroying it, and
Okay.
that's been happening forever. And you can go down and see all along the beach there are pieces of coral. It's
Mm.
just everywhere, and it's all bleached. It's all white.
Yeah.
And if you're going into the sea here, most of the coral is white. You have to go much further out to actually see the color.
I I
But the
don't
fish,
I don't think people realize that coral is a living entity. Most people see it as dead on the beach, as you mentioned. It's just white and bleached, or you see it in a curio shop where it's being sold piecemeal. But the actual coral is a living, breathing organism.
it is, and it's absolutely spectacular.
Mm.
And not only the coral, but all the animals, the creatures that attach themselves to the coral, the
You're right.
extraordinary colors that
Mm.
you don't see anywhere else, except in the wildlife movies.
Right. Where is
But
David Attenborough when you need him?
the fish are fantastic. There were clownfish, there were huge, big fish like this, and there were lots of stingrays. Luckily, I didn't see any sharks or crocodiles because I do have an allergy to them. Um, but
The-
this is part of the Coral Sea, and I'm I'm trying to. Oh, I see. That's right. I'm getting a little bit lost here. Okay, so
So,
So
so,
I spent a day on this island snorkeling, and it was
okay.
magnificent.
So let's
But I
see if
did
you
get
recognize the next.
horribly sunburnt.
Gosh, there's nothing worse. I was in the Seychelles some years ago doing a TV production, and I'd gone for a walk through a forest, but I came back a different way. I didn't have my shirt on, and I got burnt to a cinder. The next day was an off day for us from the TV shoot. And I went through our hotel. Any open doorway, I would knock on it and ask the people inside to put I think the product was called Fridge, the sun cream on parts that I couldn't reach. I've never been that sore in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
I had that tan line for years afterwards.
Well, it affects the head because unfortunately I didn't cover my head when I went
Mm.
into the water,
I was
and my
lucky.
head was very burnt.
I had a hat on. Where is
But
this?
you cannot do that when you're going under.
No, obviously not. I was walking. I wasn't snorkeling. I'd
I
already
should have worn
sunburned.
some sort of wetsuit, which goes over the head
Yeah,
as well. Which
a hoodie as well. So where is this? Because here you can get to all sorts of places: Melbourne and Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Cairns, Canberra. Townsville was only 12 kilometers away, and you seem to be
Oh no,
confused.
you've given it away. This is was this Magnetic Island or Fitzroy Island? I'm trying to think.
Listen, this is your story, not mine. I'm just working with the
Yes, I
images you
know,
sent
but you
me.
identify every photo. When I'm rushing through and skipping over is quite a challenge. I think that this was Fitzroy Island as well.
Okay. And did you have any friends here, Gary, or were you relying on the kindness of strangers?
No, where on the islands or
Yeah,
or up?
no, no, up in coming back through Queensland,
Well,
because you mentioned
I
in
did have
previous
some.
episodes that you stayed
Yeah,
with friends.
yeah. Well, I didn't stay with friends, but well, that's not quite true. I did have a very good friend who I met in Cairns,
Mm.
and it was coming up to the Jewish festival of Sukkot.
Mm.
And we did go to the Chabad and we camped in the rabbi's garden. And in fact, that was quite a hoot because we had a bathroom and everything there. So
Mm.
it was really nice. And also just to stop driving for a few days.
I should imagine. Did you take, with that in mind, did you take, aside from when the family was with you, did you have longish breaks where you stayed more than just one night or maybe even two, just to sort of refresh yourself rather than being on the road every single day?
In certain places, like in Darwin, obviously I stayed in Darwin, I was there for a week or 2 weeks more.
Mm.
And then in Katherine, I stayed over for at somebody's house for a night. Um, but mostly either one night, or if I found a campsite that was amazing, I would stay for 2 nights.
Because
But it was
as you were
quite a
saying,
full-on schedule.
you you weren't tied down to any specific time. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to say a couple of extra days, you could. It wasn't like you had to go and catch a plane or there was something happening at home that you had to be home for a birthday or something like that.
Yeah, unless I was meeting somebody or something,
Yeah.
I had my own time. Yeah.
All right. Now
Uh,
I couldn't wait to ask you about this particular object. When you sent me the photographs, originally, I obviously went through them. I recognized very few of them. And this one tweaked my interest. So what is this?
what is it? You can't see?
No,
It's
well,
just a mango.
with an ant on it.
Yeah, well, mangoes have ants on them,
They do?
especially green ants. Yeah.
I did not know that. So
Okay, well, there you
is
go.
this mango territory then?
Yes, Bowen is a long way down, heading down to the Sunshine Coast
Mhm.
in Queensland.
It's like
But
outside King Williamstown. There's that huge statue of a pineapple because King
we
Williamstown in the Eastern
we've got
Cape
that
is the
too.
center of the pineapple farming district.
Well, in Australia, we've got the big banana, we've got the big pineapple, we've got the big mango. There are so many big. We got the big prawn, which I've got photos of. So many big things, which, which are made into monuments in all these towns across Australia.
Okay, so now we know a giant mango. Well, I never. Where are we
Where
here?
are where are we indeed?
Where's Wally? Or should I say, where's Gary?
I'm here. This was actually on the way up instead of on the way down,
Mhm.
and this was. Now you've got me again. Wow.
This
It
was
was an
somewhere that you weren't, but now you are.
No, I met friends the on a on the way up to Cairns. In fact, I took an inland deviation because they were leaving for New Zealand and I went to spend a night with them.
Okay.
And they took me to this place which had a fabulous restaurant on the lake. It was very exotic. You can see just by looking at the nature, you can see it's Queensland. You can see the luscious tropical vegetation.
Mm.
And I don't remember what this place was called, but it was very close to where they lived. I'm sorry.
Doesn't
I
matter.
just,
It doesn't matter, Gary.
of
It's one
course.
other stop along the road. 9 weeks, almost 20,000 kilometers. What's one space between people? And here we're back on another beach.
Okay, so this is Cape Tribulation, which is the furthest north I went.
Okay.
And if you can zoom in, you'll see those trees are all on stilts. It's they have the root system which goes down.
So they're like mangroves.
Mangroves, that's exactly what they are. There's mangroves everywhere up there because
Mm.
this is called it's ecotourism. This is in the Daintree forests.
Okay.
So the Daintree forests come right up to the ocean.
Mm.
The forest and beaches meet there, and it's full of crocodiles.
Oh, saltwater crocodiles.
Indeed, saltwater crocodiles.
Big ones.
Big bastards, yes.
Forget snakes on a plane. These are crocodiles in our forest. Where is
Crocodiles on a beach, no less.
crocodiles on a beach? Where's Samuel L. when you need him?
So you can't really swim here, but people do. People do.
Really?
You just, yeah. You look out, you make sure nobody's coming for you, and you can have a dip.
Okay. Here we go. Cape Tribulation, Daintree National Park.
So this is exactly where we are. It's the furthest point north that I drove.
Mm.
Now, to drive up to Cape Tribulation from Cairns is not that far. It's just a couple of hours, but you do have to cross a river, and that you're taken on a ferry. The distance between the two banks of the river is probably 100 meters, if that.
Okay.
And it's a $50 ticket just to get across. So it's quite crazy, I think. And but it was well worth going to spend a little bit of time in the Daintree forest, Cape Tribulation.
Right.
And I camped at a fabulous place up there. They have camping on the beach. It's really spectacular. Now this is coming down again.
Mm.
And this is in Townsville.
Okay,
so this is
finally
on the way back. On the way back, after having gone back to Cairns. Townsville is it's very close to Cairns. It's only 5 or 6 hours drive.
From what you're telling us, from what you've told us in the previous 3 episodes, 5 or 6 hours is relatively close.
It is. No, it is. It is. And there's some gorgeous places to stop along the way between Cairns and Townsville. So, go back. Go back.
All right. I'm just watching the time, Gary.
Okay, just go back one. All right. So this place, I came back from, I think it was Fitzroy Island. I'm looking for a place to camp.
Right.
And I heard that there was a lot of the parking spaces are patrolled at night by the council. And if you found camping there, you get a fine. So
Really?
you've got to be quite careful. So I was told about this place just beyond those trees is Van-Nilla.
Okay.
And this is a pool, a council pool saltwater pool where you can swim, and there's a shower there as well, which is amazing. And I just thought it was absolutely gorgeous. So I spent a night there, and I swam before I went to bed and when I woke up in the morning.
So is this like a tidal pool, or is it like a?
It's a tide. Yes,
Okay.
It's a tidal. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. It looks stunning.
It is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
The showers are all outdoor showers, so there's no complete luxury. But when the weather's warm and beautiful like this, you don't mind having cold showers.
Indeed, you don't. Now, you mentioned midges.
No. These are flies.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No. You didn't let me finish. I said you mentioned midges. I know these are flies, because what I didn't know, just thinking of hohos and looking at you with a mozzie face mask on, is that you get mosquitoes in Alaska in that freezing cold weather, and they are big. They are huge. They bite people to pieces. So what is with the flies in Australia? We've all seen those cartoons with an Aussie in a hat with corks hanging off it to keep the flies away. Here you're in a mozzie face mask looking like something out of Halloween or a
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger movie.
Okay. Well, to be honest, this particular day, this was part of my drive back, and
Mm.
this is in New South Wales on the south coast. So it's below Sydney. But why am I wearing this is because the flies go into your mouth, into your ears, up your nose. It's impossible to survive when the flies are like that. But I must admit, there were not many days of flies and
Oh, flies
beetles
like that.
like that. But
But where do
that
they come
was,
from?
they just appear out of nowhere miraculously. But luckily, they don't last too long. By the next morning, they were
They're
all
gone.
gone when I woke up. Yeah.
Gary, if we look back at the past three, now four episodes that you and I have done, and thank you so much for your time. Because we're coming to the end of the series, what would you say to somebody who wanted to do a trip like this? Would you be positive, or would you, in retrospect, go, I'd never do it again?
Oh, absolutely. I would do it again. I would do it
Good.
again. Every time I go off in Van-Nilla, I
Mhm.
learn an incredible amount. I learn what to take, what not to take, where to put things so you can get access to them easily,
Right.
uh, how to drive, the routes to take. It's just an ongoing education.
So, what on this trip did you learn that you were glad you had? And what did you go, darn, if only I'd brought that with me?
Well, I'm very glad I had the UHF radio.
Okay.
That's one.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm glad I changed my mobile phone service to Telstra because it's got the range.
Okay.
You get signals all over. No, not all over, but mostly
Almost
most
all over.
all the way up.
Right.
Whereas the other service providers you can't.
Mhm.
Um, I've learned to travel in the morning, so you
Mhm.
leave as early in the morning and travel, and then by mid-afternoon I stop. Often I found myself driving at sunset, which is a no-no, for
Yeah.
the simple reason you don't want to hit kangaroos or wild animals on the road,
Okay.
including the big four, five, six, the mosquitoes, the
Mosquitoes,
crocodile.
camels, you've still got there.
Yes, I did see a few camels on the road. I
Right.
did. Wild camels.
Wild camels, yeah.
Yeah.
People, you wonder how they arrived in Australia because I don't think they naturally, somebody must have brought one or at least two and then
It's the,
let them run
it's the
free.
same as the rabbits. You see little bunny
Exactly.
rabbits where we live here. You
Yeah.
see them all over because there are many farms around here. I'm
And now
in
you
a
can't get rid of them.
semi-rural area. It's amazing. I mean, they're very
Gary,
cute.
yeah, they're cute until you don't want them, and then you've got to cull them, and then people, get all upset because you're shooting rabbits. Thank you so much for your time. It really and truly has been a wonderful trip with you and restoring our friendship after 20 odd years of not speaking to each other because we've just lost touch. Is there a book? Is there a video? Is there a something that's going to come out of this, or is it just going to land up on a hard drive and on my YouTube channel?
Well, on your YouTube channel is already huge. I mean, half the world subscribes by now, surely. Um, a book, a movie, who knows?
Who
At
knows?
the moment, what definitely has come out of this is
Mhm.
a project to film a documentary and to do a workshop around these termite creatures in the Northern Territory and Queensland. So that's something I'm working on actively now. I'm putting in proposals to get funding to make that
Great
happen.
stuff. Gary, thank you so very much for your time on these 4 episodes. My guest for the last 4 episodes has been ex-South African puppeteer Gary Friedman, now living in Australia. And he's been telling us about this marvelous trip that he did around just a part of Australia. 9 weeks, almost 20,000 kilometers on the road. Try doing that in South Africa. Gary, once again, thank you for your time, my friend. And I look forward to your next trip, or at least the project with your aliens, with eager anticipation.
Hamba Gashle.
And to you too. My name's David Batsoff, and he's Gary Friedman. This has been In Conversation With.